Hey Fremont, this is Heather Hansen, one of your elders, and I am here to talk to you about a super crazy chapter in the book of Revelation, chapter 17. We see here the beginning of a new section in Revelation, the first part of the description of God's judgment against his enemies. And there's a lot of imagery, a lot of harsh, graphic language, a lot of talk about idolatry. There's lots of terrifying imagery and words, and the end results of all the idolatry that is described in chapter 17. And spoiler alert, it's not good. There's a lot to swallow and take in this chapter. I had to take notes. I had to write down a lot to try and make sense of what is going on here. And I'm no theologian, so we're just going to go over 2 points that I found that stood out to me. The first came from this, again, the idea of idolatry. And in Stephen Whitmer's study of Revelation, he says, the gravest danger for God's people is often not external persecution, but the allurement of prosperity, social advancement, and ease of lifestyle. We see the prostitute and the beast representing societies and people that engage in this kind of idolatry to the point of destruction. And many people think that they represent Babylon or Rome. The end result of this kind of behavior is destruction. But the main point that I found comfort in this crazy chapter is came in verse 14. And again, in Stephen Whitmer's study of Revelation, he says, in the end, God's enemies always lose. So in verse 14, it says, they will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers. Now, I find those 2 opposites and think about, well, I would love at the end of my life or at the end times to be found a called, chosen, and faithful follower of God, not someone who has fallen victim to idolization. And we are all sinners, and we all fall victim to some sort of idolatry at some point in our lives. But man, we can be the called and chosen faithful followers of Christ and be with him at the end. And let's live a life that is worthy of that calling, of following Jesus and loving him above all else. You know, harking all the way back to the 10 Commandments, that we love God above all else. Anyway, I hope you are enjoying Revelation. It's literally one of my favorite books of the Bible. It is intense, but it is so good and so rich. Read it multiple times over to kind of let the words and the imagery, the poetic verses of John kind of sink in. That's all I have for you today. Enjoy the rest of Revelation. I'll see you next time. Bye.